next weekend. Reba Brooks and Dunn, Journey's coming, Sting's coming, Elton John. We can go on forever, but we only have a few more minutes. Go to CaesarsRewards.com, search for the shows. Something for everybody. Definitely check it out. Top billing performers.
And something you don't have to buy tickets for. That's following Jeff Davis on Twitter at @the_junkyard. Great information from one of the top odds makers in the business. Thanks, Jeff.
Guys, we'll talk next week.
That's Jeff Davis. He's the director of trading at Caesars Entertainment. We will take a break. We'll come back and get to the Monday 4 at 4.
The Las Vegas Sports Line.
And with John Lyons from Lyons Physical Therapy, and it's not just you at LPT. You've got a staff of really experienced, qualified people.
Yeah, Dave, we have 3 other physical therapists on staff with combined over 50 years experience with those other 3 physical therapists. Our therapists specialize in different treatments. We do some trigger point dry needling. We do a lot of manual therapy involving massage, joint mobilizations. We also have physical therapy assistants and massage therapists that help treat our patients' injuries.
LionsPTLV.com, 702-476-0222.
Follow us on Twitter at the LV Sportsline and at ESPN Las Vegas.
Hello, friends. This is Thomas Johnson from Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. Need a great idea for lunch or dinner? Your best bet is Joe's, one of the most popular dining destinations on the Strip. Joe's provides the ideal setting for private parties with accommodations for up to 150 guests. Stop by to see us at the Forum Shops at Caesars and ask for Thomas Johnson, your maitre d'.
Great stuff from Caesars Entertainment Director of Trading, Jeff Davis. Haven't had lunch with Jeff in a while. I know where we'll go. Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. They're open for lunch every day in addition to having they're just the spot for dinner. Make a reservation, 702-792-9222. Ralph Michaels covers our angles of the day. Teddy, what did he come up with today?
Well, we used Atlanta against the Mets as Monday's angle. We're going to come back to that series again today. But instead of a side, we're going to look at the over. Because, of course, the Braves have now gone over 10 in a row. The Braves 15-3-2 to the over. Their last 20 is chalk when they're favorite. The Mets 8-2-1 to the over when they're away from Citi Field. Add it up, put it all together. We're talking about over 10 for the Mets and the Braves.
That's Teddy Covers. You can follow him on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. We hope you will do so. You can follow Ari Platinum at Token__. And you can follow me at Dave Cokin, DAVECOKIN. Yeah, I spelled it right. Let's check out our Joes. No, we did that. Let's check out our MJ Christensen 4 at 4.
1, 2, bring it to the 4.
Put the 4s up. Put the 4s up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sports Lines 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
And don't forget, MJ Christensen located at Boca Park. That's their one and only location. They have been doing business with Las Vegas for they're in their 81st year now. They're one of the oldest businesses in the entire city. It could be the oldest. In fact, I don't know who keeps records on that, but there wasn't a lot here in 1939. And MJ Christensen has stood the test of time and then some. Find out why by taking a ride over to Boca Park and getting the best sales and service in the jewelry industry, bar none. Teddy, let's begin with that Mets-Braves game. Mm-hmm. The Braves finally got shut down last night as Jacob deGrom had great stuff. I mean, really great stuff. He gave up a couple of home runs in the ninth inning because he insisted on staying in the game. They were going to take him out at the 7, and he was having none of it. Mets unloaded on Julio Teheran last night. Tonight it's lefties. Max Fried, who has not been as sharp lately for the Braves. Steven Matz, who... You know, look, if you go by game scores, he's actually been kind of a below-average pitcher this year for the Mets. It sounds like a game that's going to see some scoring.
Well, every Braves game has seen some scoring.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, we talk about the concept, how overs beget overs, all right? You have a hot lineup that's going to stay hot until proven otherwise. Uh-oh, that lineup got shut down last night. And that's my biggest concern here with the over.
Yeah. Although that was a righty and this is a lefty, which could make a difference.
But from a side standpoint, the Mets had one of those closed-door, player-only meetings after Monday's loss, and they came out yesterday and they looked like a different team.
I was surprised, by the way, that since they had a closed-door meeting, they came out of that, and Rosario was still on the roster. I'm not a big fan, okay?
Pete Alonso's quote following the game yesterday after he got, 4 hits. Quote, "It was all just honesty," talking about the players-only meeting. "We were just being honest with ourselves. We are not going to fold. We have a lot of ball left." That's not a crazy bet on quote, but that's a bet on quote for the Mets right now. And Fried is not a guy who's in good current form. I wouldn't argue with the Mets here.
A lot of money going across the window today on the L.A. Angels. Holy cow. Now this line, I think they opened the line short. I don't think this was a good opening number because you had to know the action was going to be on the Angels. So it doesn't matter what you think the right price is in the game. I think they priced it right in terms of what the odds should be, but it wasn't a good line because this could only generate a lot of Angels action. And that, to me, is the definition of a bad line when it moves 30 cents, as it has today. It's actually moved even more than that. It's 40 cents now. You don't want that kind of a movement if you're on the other side of the counter. But they kind of got what they asked for, and they're bombing the Angels here.
I can't make a case for Toronto right now in just about any game. The Blue Jays are pretty high on my list of bet against teams. The quotes coming out of that locker room aren't positive.
No.
They're not a team that feels good about themselves. Everybody knows it's you talk about June swoons. It's mail-in time in Toronto
and
already.
They even lost their closer. He got hurt, the elbow thing with Ken Giles, which was their one strength because Giles had been dynamite there. So, the game was over if you got to the 8th inning and you were ahead. Even that's up in the air now.
Sure, very dicey bullpen. And Sanchez, in the month of June, has more walks than strikeouts, and the betting markets will react to that.
We talked about this on First Pitch this morning. We did our First Pitch video for WagerTalk, which you can find at YouTube and WagerTalk.com and other places.
All over the place.
Yeah. Aaron Sanchez is not a starting pitcher. And to me, the Blue Jays are stupid. They're really stupid at this point because the way to increase his value and make him a tradable commodity, and the Blue Jays need tradable commodities, put him in the bullpen. Let him throw his 2 pitches, which he actually can throw pretty well, and just be a short guy. This is a guy who, if they give him a chance, could become a high-leverage type reliever. And they're in great demand right now. He's never going to be a good starting pitcher.
Yeah, but if you can't throw strikes, if you're walking batters, you can't come into the bullpen either.
Yeah, sure you can. Mm-hmm. I think you can. There's relief pitchers have been actually pretty successful who might walk a guy, but you can't hit him. But as a starting pitcher, he's got to throw 4 pitches. He doesn't have 4 pitches. And there his control problems really show up.
Sure, and then second time through the lineup, he's had his share of struggles.
It's just, I don't understand. At times, these front offices
he's better than Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, by the way, I thought Edwin Jackson would get DFA'd.
No,
they put him on the injured list.
Yeah, they said we might have to bring him out. Montori was saying, I don't know who we're going to start this week. Yeah, Toronto's a mess.
The Indians and Rangers matching up. Adam Plutko will go against Joe Palumbo. Palumbo making his second big league start for the Rangers. His line didn't look good in his first start, but actually was all 1 inning. He was very good first 3 innings and then had some problems in the 4th inning. Plutko's a guy. I have a natural bias going in. I just don't think he's any good. I don't like guys who have these 25% ground ball rates. They're just waiting to get blown up, and he's just he doesn't look like a big league starter to me. The Indians are kind of stuck at the back of the rotation right now because of the injuries, and that's why Plutko's throwing. But I don't know. Look, the Indians are in better form than the Rangers by a little bit right now, I guess you could say, because the Indians are kind of showing maybe they're playing their best ball of the season. But then you look at the Rangers and what they've done off a loss, especially in their home ballpark. And that's a tough thing to go against.
They're 25-13 at home. They're playing .660 ball at home. It's very hard for me to step in. And Texas has shown me a lot of character this year. You know what I mean? There are teams that when they're 4 runs down, the game is over. Texas is not one of those teams. And they've done it not once, not twice, but repeatedly. Even in games that they haven't won, they take, they fight for their 27 outs. And I like teams like that. And I like teams like that off a loss, and I like teams like that off a bad pitcher. So, against a bad pitcher. So, I think you can tell which way I'm leaning in this one.
And then you've got the Red Sox and Twins, and this one becomes so difficult because the teams played 17 innings last night. I think I kind of favor the team that won because, well, you're liable to have more energy coming out the next day after pulling out a game like that.
And they're younger to begin with.
Well, and particularly the fact that the Twins came back in the ninth and then came back in one of the extra innings.
13th, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing some good things. The Red Sox are... I know they've played better lately, but, let's face it, what does that mean, beating the Orioles over the weekend? Not much. They just still look like they've got a hangover to me. And I don't know that it's going away anytime soon. This actually looks a little cheap on the Twins.
Boston's last series win against an opponent with a winning record, last weekend of April against the one game over 500 A's. They have 2 wins, that one sweep in Tampa and that series against Oakland, and that's it for the season.
Wow.
For Boston in terms of winning series against opponents that are over 500. I'm with you. And the other thing we always want, again, after a game where both bullpens got completely used up, the 17-inning affair, which starter can last deep into the game? Well, let's see. Eduardo can last 7, but he's coming off a season-high 114-pitch effort. Gibson, too, can last 7. Heck, he lasted 8 last time. And he didn't get, he throw 90 pitches, 88 pitches?
He's been very efficient.
Exactly. So Gibson of the 2, I trust him to last longer. And off the marathon, a lot of times, there's a big difference when you're in your early 20s versus when you're a 30-something and you played 17 innings the previous day. Yeah, it's Minnesota or pass for this better as well.
The one downer with a lefty going, you kind of like Mitch Garver behind the plate. He ain't playing tonight, okay? I haven't even checked the lineups, but Garver's not going to be playing. He caught all 17 innings. So he will get the night off, and Jason Castro will be a lefty versus lefty. Unless they go to Astudillo, I guess I don't know. We'll check the lineups, but I don't think Mitch Garver will be playing.
And that is why your baseball analysis is second to none. Because not only did you know the second-string catcher, you knew the third-string catcher. That's well done.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
I don't think there are many guys out there, handicappers out there. I could have told you who the third-string catcher was. You didn't look it up. You got it in your brain.
No. I didn't see him last night though, so I wonder. I might be blanking on whether he might be on the injured list. I'm not sure. So I might be completely wrong.
The fact is, you know him, and if he's on the injured list, even better. Some guy that's not even on the roster right now, and you know.
He's a tough guy to miss though, because he weighs. He looks like he's 5'2" and 300 pounds. He does. He looks like Pablo Sandoval. He really does.
Well, that's what catchers are supposed to look like. That's
Which, by the way,
called Pudge.
He might be following a somewhat similar career path to Sandoval.
Oh, that the Red Sox are going to sign him to big money, and then he's going to end up back at his former squad.
Sandoval started off; he was a catcher. Couldn't really catch, but he was a catcher, and then they moved him out to third base, and he's still actually can hit some.
He's the Giants' best hitter this year,
from the left side. I don't know why he switch hits because he stinks.
Which is why the Giants are 9 games under 500.
The Giants are on a tear lately. They're 5-2 in their last 7 games. That constitutes a major hot streak for them this year.
No doubt. Well, I mean, they're 16.5 game behind the Dodgers, and they're like 5-6 against them.
I know. So. Well, and that's the interesting thing, by the way. There is something. I know we talk about the great rivalries in football because that's where the rivalries really, oh boy. But these little brother, big brother rivalries in baseball are pretty good. The Angels have the little brother attitude against the Dodgers. The Giants, I think, at this point, right now, have the little brother attitude against the Dodgers. And the White Sox definitely have the little brother attitude against the Cubs. And they were pretty excited about that win last night.
Sure, the White Sox. I mean, again, there's only 3.5 games separating the White Sox and the Cubs in the standings right now. We think of these two teams in different worlds, and they're not.
No, they're not. All right, let's step away. We'll take a break. We'll come back and. I forgot about this. This was not an intentional segue, but it worked out really well. The White Sox and Cubs is our marquee matchup. That's next.
The Las Vegas Sports Line.
I'm Dave Cokin with Cliff Miller from MJ Christensen Diamonds. This is my favorite one to talk about. Diamonds from outer space.
Oh, moissanite. And it is popular with a certain sect. A lot of ladies, if it's not a diamond, it's not going to happen. So from space or wherever it's from, no moissanite for them. But it is a greatly, highly dispersive stone that can be enjoyed.
MJ Christensen, something special for the love of your life. Located at Boca Park.
Follow us